In Georgia, we have an abundance of rivers and streams, but all of the lakes that we have are completely man-made. The majority of them made by Georgia Power by interfering in the natural landscape and by manipulating the ecosystem. Here in Milledgeville, Georgia Power was proposing to not truly deal with the coal ash ponds at Plant Branch. They wanted to separate the water from the sludge and clean the water and put it into the lake and then put the sludge into an unlined pit. And there was community outrage over the proposal. It was a chance for folks to really come together and to raise their voice against what was clearly something Georgia Power hoped would happen quickly and without much public attention.
Georgia Power has more than 90 million tons of coal ash waste at various power plants all over the state. More than 50 million tons of that they're planning just to leave in place in these unlined pits.
All of these ash ponds are located next to a coal plant, which is next to a body of water, which means there's a lot of water coming up from the bottom of the soil next to what might look on the surface to be a dry area. You don't have to dig down too far to hit water. And so one of the reasons why a liner is really important is to prevent that water from coming up from the bottom and getting into the toxins and pulling it back down into the water table. So a liner is a vital thing given the unique soil that is at these ash ponds.
Georgia Power's own data shows that groundwater is moving through the area where the ash is being consolidated. And so the fact that there's no liner between where the groundwater is and where the ash is means that we're pretty confident that they're gonna mix.
I think the public opinion around Georgia Power is that we are not in a position to question any job creator, that folks ought to be grateful and not really ask too many questions.
So many people, including some of our elected officials, said there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Coal ash is coming.
There's a joke that you don't call them the power company because they make electricity. You call them the power company because they have immense political power, and they have spent centuries building an empire, and empires don't really crumble overnight.
That was completely enabled by the power of the people and not any kind of big money or big political power.
Now, people are busy. Maybe they have 30 seconds a day to worry about environmental issues. Let's make that the best 30 seconds they get. We need to address this the here and now and make sure this never happens again.
You helped pay for the coal that Georgia Power burned. And I think you have a vested interest in telling the powers that be that as someone who pays this every month, you care about the health of your family, your children, your community. And so I think if enough people who have these tell the Environmental Protection Division, we want to see all this coal ash taken out of here, we'll see the levers of power move. We have an opportunity right now to influence what EPD does. And the decision that is made this year will affect us hundreds of years in the future. Because if they decide to cap that stuff in place and they just leave it where it is, they're not going to come back later and dig it up safely.
Use your voice. With this pandemic, we've all learned how to use Zoom, we use GoToMeeting, we use Teams. We know how to do that. So use your voice, send in your comments, tell them, get those ponds lined. Get them lined, get them capped, get them monitored, do the right thing.